Boom, shaka, laka, boom. We are live here on the Clay Edwards Show. It is a Tuesday morning. Your boy went out last night. Man, I saw one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life, and I ain't afraid to say it. Creed. What's this life for? Put on one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to say it. I said it on Facebook when I got in last night. Sometimes you're kind of caught up in the moment. And recency bias, I believe is what they call it. I put on Facebook, it was one of the top 10 best concerts I've ever been to. And Scott Stapp put on one of the top 5 best lead singer or frontmen performances of all time last night. Now, you're saying, well, Clay, how can it be a top 10 concert and he get a top 5? Well, I've seen some of my favorite bands 15, 20 times. So that's how. But I'm super impressed. Great show. Great meeting a lot of you guys and girls out there last night. Always entertaining to meet everybody and hear your stories. So we just went live on social media. I have about 7 minutes between the end of one show to the start of another here at WYAB. And when you lug all this equipment around, cameras, lights, action, it takes a second to sit down, and then you got to get into this program I use that it's called Restream, and it sends one signal to all the different platforms. Well, one of the pain in the butts that I'm efforting, making less a pain in the butt, is you have to type a description for each platform manually, unless you schedule the event. And I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So it took a second to get the stream up and going, but would love to see your comments there. We'll read them on the air as long as just keep them clean for your boy. That's all I ask. Keep the comments clean. And hey, look, I'm throwing it up there now. Don't forget your free testosterone screenings out at Men's Health in Mississippi. Just text my name, Clay, to 601-327-8550. And you too can operate on 5 hours sleep after having nothing but a good time out at the Creed concert last night, and then come do a 2-hour radio show. If it wasn't for the testosterone and the coffee, I don't know that the show would be possible today. So it's brought to you today by Men's Health in Mississippi and the free testosterone screenings. But hey, maybe you just need to lose some weight. Maybe your testosterone levels are fine, but I doubt that. I doubt that your testosterone levels are fine and you need to lose some weight. But if that's the case, text weight loss to that same number and try out some and see if compounded semaglutide is best for you. Now, that's really for folks that need to lose 20 pounds or more. Really is. And it can help with diabetic prevention and more. Get that weight off, stop eating them sugars, all that good stuff. All right, I'm pulling up some websites here. Y'all bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second as I get this going. The computer's going just a little slow this morning. I had to log into we had to reset the computer here in the studio, so I had to log into my entire Google account because ain't no way your boy can remember all these passwords. Because you forget a password once, you can't reuse that password, so you had to set a new password, and I never remember what the new password is. So anyway, I had to log into my Google account where it's all just kind of saved. I posted this on TikTok the other day, and it did about 250,000 views. It's still getting a lot of views. I think it's going to be one of those videos that has legs and does a really big number over time. Let's see here. What do you guys, and we're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk more about the assassination. I heard Matt talking a lot about it a minute ago. I was listening to Clay Travis from yesterday as I was driving in this morning as well, kind of flipping back and forth. We're going to talk about that. But I feel like when we beat y'all upside the head with one topic for all day, one day, and then the next, sometimes it's better just to shift gears a little bit. And I want to jump back in the DeLorean and go back to 2020 and revisit a topic that I didn't get to talk about on radio because, well, I wasn't doing a radio show then. And that is Kamala Harris telling Al Sharpton that if elected president, she would in fact sign a bill giving black folks reparations at the expense of white folks. Now, the left-wing media would tell you, This has been debunked. We have fact-checked this. It's Russian misinformation, Clay. You're spreading Russian misinformation, Mr. Edwards. And to that I say, you're a damn lie. We got the video. I'm pulling it up here. For everybody watching the stream on Facebook, YouTube, and X, it's streaming to my personal Facebook page, the Save Jackson Facebook page, and again, Twitter, X, and YouTube, just at Save JXN. If you want to see any of the videos that we're playing on the show, if you want to see my ugly mug, that is how you, in fact, can do it. Let me pull your chats up here. Speaking of chats, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. If you don't want your name mentioned, do not send a chat or in a comment on social media, because I'm going to be reading those and I will probably say your name. So just FYI. I mean, I'll just say your first name, but just FYI. All right, let's go back over here. Let me pull this up. Let me play this video here. This is Kamala Harris. I guess I should give you the context. You know what? Context doesn't matter when it comes to Democrats, because it doesn't. To them, they don't care when it's us. So why should we care when it's them? Let's make sure I got it all going here. Let's see here. All right.
But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved, if you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that
bill. But in the area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved, if you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that
bill. It's the laugh for me. It's that just diabolical, evil laugh from Kamala. How many different ways can you say her name? My goodness. I want you guys to call in. How excited are y'all about paying reparations? Now, because I'm not a hypocrite, context does in fact matter. I was telling some people the other day, who was I with? It don't matter. I'll remember in a minute. But I was telling them, I really thought about starting a show and calling it Out of Context, because I think context always matters. Now, there's not that much context to this. That's just me telling y'all something off the top of my head there. But they love to take things that we say out of context, or what Donald Trump says out of context, like the Very Fine People hoax. But when you do it to them, they're going to fact check and debunk you. So this is from Eric Abinade. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He says, when running for president in 2020, Kamala Harris told Al Sharpton that she would sign a reparations bill once elected. Al Sharpton, in the arena, quote, in the arena of reparations of far descendants of African, in the arena of reparations of far descendants of African enslaved, if you're elected president, would you sign the bill commissioned to study and develop reparation proposal for African Americans Act proposed by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, if it comes across your desk? Kamala Harris says, when I am elected president, I will sign that bill. It says Trump gave all Americans reparations by providing a booming economy with low inflation, interest rates, and affordable gas prices. Kamala Harris is so bad at economics that she thinks grocery stores are price gouging. Cackle, 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 cackle. But in reality, their profit margins under Biden-Harris is 1.2%. Man, look, I've never ran a grocery store. Have no intentions on ever running a grocery store. So I'm getting some reports of some popping in the sound in the stream. We'll address that as we can. So, but yeah, what do y'all guys think? Are you excited about paying reparations? Can you pay extra? You know how you can decide if you want extra taxes taken out of your check? So you get a bigger return at the end of the year because you just love paying taxes. Will you mark the little box to pay extra reparations for your white guilt? Like white guilt tax? What do you guys think? Steve in the comments says, the last time I was in Venezuela, Children's was making trinkets out of the worthless currency, selling it to foreigners so they could purchase food. Oof, that's rough. That is rough right there. Let's see here. Yeah. Sean says, I wonder what the punishment for not paying. I, for one, won't be paying a dang thing. Me either. I will not. If that involves having to find something where I only make cash and I never pay another penny in taxes, that is what I will do. If I have to become a mantitoot, I think that's a male prostitute, a mantitoot, I will consider that option. Or maybe I will just start walking up and down Highway 80. Well, yeah, that'd be the same thing, wouldn't it? Not walking up and down Highway 80. I mean, posting up at these intersections, like Lakeland Drive in front of St. Dominic's, with my cup out there. Change. You got something a little strange for a little change? I mean, those guys work rent-free and tax-free. And everybody gets all mad when you talk about them. Clay, you're not allowed to talk about them. You don't know their story. You're not allowed to talk about them. There was a video or a photo that went kind of viral here locally the other day of a guy getting out of a Nissan Altima, big Altima Energy. He was being dropped off there at the corner of Lakeland and the interstate in front of St. Dominic's at his post for the day. Somebody snapped the photo. And somebody commented under it when I shared it. Clay, I know this guy. He's actually a real addict. I'm thinking to myself, so? I'm a real hard worker. Where's my sympathy? I get up every day at 5:30 a.m., come do this, then do everything else I do every day, just like so many of you do. I don't expect a cookie. I don't expect any sympathy. I don't expect an attaboy. Where's my attaboy? I will say this, a lot of you guys do defend me in these comments online, so I do thank y'all for that, but never feel obligated to. But I do appreciate it. It's nice to know that there's normal people out there that are tired of this nonsense. They get up every day and listen to these radio shows. So, let's see here. Jason says, I picked up one of the beggars on an Uber ride. It makes me want to punch them in the face. It really does. It makes me want to punch them in the face. They work rent-free and tax-free, and they say it's illegal not to let them. I thought it was illegal not to pay taxes. And I am not a fan of taxes. I mean, I'm not saying these guys should have to pay taxes. But if that's the current law, why aren't we enforcing it? Mississippi Department of Revenue, IRS. Y'all know my address. What about them? Madeline on Facebook says, the one that stands in front of St. D only asks for cigarettes. Well, look, cigarettes are high. I mean, that's money. He's probably turning around selling them. Haley says, there's a Hallie, I think, says, I will not be paying that. Sorry. I have no guilt because I didn't do crap. And Hallie, and that's where most Americans are at. And here's the thing. This is how you create racism and division in this country, is you tell one group of people that we are somehow financially liable for something that happened 300 years ago, and that we're financially liable to pay to a group that didn't have that happen to them. That's how you create racism. If you want to see racism in this country, and you want to see people legitimately not like black people because they're black, that is in fact how you create racism. And I'm just picking black because that's the ones they're talking about the reparations for here. If it was any other race, same thing. It's why people are getting very upset and feeling a certain kind of way about Haitians right now. They're eating their cats, they're eating their dogs, they're coming over here, they're getting a bunch of money. It is why people are starting to get fed up with black and brown people that come across that border. Because we're paying them when we can't barely keep food on our own damn tables. Garrison says, y'all are voting for her because she is a woman in black. She is the worst. America is not ready for a woman president. Will happen, but not now. I legitimately have no problem with a woman president. I have a problem with a Democrat president. I don't care if it's a woman, if it's a man that thinks it's a woman, if it's a man, if it's a black man, if it's a white man, if it's a Haitian man. I don't want a Democrat president. And on the flip side, if it's a Republican, I don't care if it's a woman. I would not have voted for, I would have sat this one out if Nikki Haley had been the candidate. If they had successfully killed Trump and Nikki Haley weaseled in there, which I'm beginning to think more and more and more, that was the establishment Republicans and the Nikki Haley folks that tried to get that done. It just made more sense for them. And then she would have come in and said, we're not going to punish the Democrats. We're going to bring unity together. And we'd have just continued rolling on down the tracks, sending more money to Ukraine. Everybody staying out of jail. Back to business as usual in Washington, D.C. Anyway, my point being, I would have set that one out. Would not have voted in that election. I wouldn't have voted for that nonsense. Let's take a break here on the Clay Edwards Show. It's just me here in the studio this morning. Y'all check in on the live stream. We're on X. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook at SaveJXN on all those. It says my name, but it's like YouTube/SaveJ. You know what I'm trying to say here. If you're watching online, hit the share button. Please hit the share and like button. Let's help grow this show. And as always, if you don't care for the video and you need to stream it without radio, WYAB.com, hit the listen live button, and boom, shaka, laka, boom. We'll be right back here on WYAB. All right, guys, I hope I got the sound issue fixed out. There's a couple buttons you have to have pressed to do this. I didn't have them pressed initially, so hopefully that got it sound. If the sound is better now, give me a thumbs up, somebody. Appreciate you guys chiming in this morning. Love having the live stream. Absolutely love having the live stream back going. Makes doing the show so much easier, being able to engage with y'all's comments. So, all right, I'm going to throw a little flyer up here and find a little bit of stuff to talk about here during the break. Let me put y'all's chats on the screen so everybody can see everybody's chats from all the different platforms. And I'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 FM, WYAB, out here at our little First Amendment free speech outpost at the independently owned 103.9 FM WYAB. I just saw Matt, the owner. I tell you what, man, he's a very low key dude, but he doesn't get the praise he deserves for allowing us the platform that he has extended us guys and girls here at WYAB. It has never suggested what we should or shouldn't talk about on the radio. Just says, keep it between the lines as far as what's legal and what's not. And I tell you, what a amazing individual to do that in such dire times out there. Well, let's see here. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. I know you guys get tired of getting clubbed upside the head, but again, we couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without y'all supporting them. And look, it's no secret. I like to go out and have a good time. I always have. I've learned that moderation is key. This week is not going to be one of those moderation weeks. We're going to be right back at it Wednesday night at Burgers, Blues, Barbecue in downtown Brandon. Having nothing but a good time ourselves. I'll be broadcasting live. So if you want to come sit down and have a conversation with me on the live stream, just like what we're doing here, minus the radio, I'll be there from 5 to about 6:30 doing that. Maybe as late as 7 o'clock. We'll see. As long as we got 2 hours worth of stuff to talk about, we'll talk 2 hours. But it's to kick off season 2 of the Cordless Corner Unplugged music competition. We did it back at the beginning of summer and had about 200 people a night show up every Wednesday and got to see some of the best local live entertainment that this city has to offer. Gosh dang, man, we have so much great talent here. They're going to be cranking it up again, competing every Wednesday for cash and prizes. Brought to you by Shine. That's Bo Trebetich's charity organization or human trafficking, human rescue organization. It's all to raise money for that. It's free to get in. So come out, check it out, enjoy some live entertainment, meet all the judges, come out, hang out with me. I don't think I'll have any FAFO shirts available this week. I got to order some more. We only got about 5 or 6 left in stock. You guys took advantage of that big sale that I had going on. There's still a few left at buyfafo.com. They're marked down to $15, and I've got some of the Vote Felon shirts in 2XL available as well. So check them out and take advantage of that. So let's see here. Christy says she's coming out to the Burgers Blues barbecue event Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing Miss Christy Kendall with Mississippi Carters Association, or Christy, I always forget the technical name of it, but the go-kart racing folks be out there. So always looking forward and drive your line. She's just good people, man. Gosh dang good people. So anyway, get out there. Check that out. Let's see here. Let's jump in your comments again real quick. We've been talking about reparations. Kamala Harris says that we're going to have to pay some. She's going to sign a bill to force white Americans to pay for something that happened 300 years ago to black folks. I tell you what, I'm going to be out there getting a 23andMe so quick. I've always been against getting those 23andMes. I don't want to find out about any kids out there I might not know I have. That's a joke. But I have always been against it because I don't really want to have my DNA on file. But when they start talking about my money, they start interfering with my money, I'm probably going to want to prove that I got a little black in me. I'm just going to be honest. I do. If I find out I have any black in me, will I be able to say the N-word? Does that come with the deal? Will I get reparations and be able to say the N-word if my 23andMe comes back? I mean, Elizabeth Warren still says she's Indian, running around here like she's Pocahontas. Will I be allowed to do that? So you think being serious. Think about this. If they're going to force white people, and this is her words, not mine. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation, but if they're going to do it, they're going to take extra taxes out of our checks for reparations. On the flip side, if you're black, you're not going to have that extra tax taken out, and you're going to get some extra free money. I used to, when I was in the car business, I didn't like working on Saturdays, but I always volunteered to work on Saturdays because I know that I'm irresponsible with money. And I know that when I get bored, I spend money. So in theory, I could go spend $300 just goofing off on a Saturday. Maybe buying some new shoes, going and sitting and watching a ball game at one of our great sponsors, Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, Martin's, Acme Pizza. Just sitting around hanging out, having some drinks, having nothing but a good time. Or I could go to work and possibly make $300 or more selling a car. That is a pivot of $600. $600. That is a pivot of. So that's kind of what they're doing here with this reparations. People are going to be getting about I don't know what the swing is, but they're not going to have any extra taken out, and they're going to get some free, whether that's $200, $400, $600. Now, John has always got interesting things to say. I'm sure he'll disagree with all that I've said here. Let's go to the Mazda Jackson phone line and talk to Here's the Thing, John. Good morning, John.
I was thinking about what you were saying with Kamala Harris and the reparations and if a bill came across her desk. Now, if we broke this down, the Congress is predominantly white. Am I correct?
I don't know the racial breakdown.
Well, I'm just saying, and they actually represent their constituents when they come to Congress. So if they were to, they would have to pass the bill in the House and the Senate. Now, this would be a majority Caucasian Congress. So therefore, to me, they wouldn't be taking your money. You voted for these people, and they decided to pass a bill to provide reparations. So if I were president, if I was Kamala Harris, I would sign it too, because you would have a consensus of your Congress. So therefore, your representatives would have passed it. So I don't see what the problem is.
And I'm a pistol whoop them if they do.
But that's what. So in your argument, if you think about it, white people would be saying, in essence, that we elected these individuals to go represent our interests, and they decided that black people deserve reparations. Then there should be no argument.
Yep, the guilt-ridden white folks.
Well,
I'm not one of them.
That would be the whole Congress, Clay. So understand, the Congress they represent the people from their specific districts, Mississippi, Alabama. So to pass it, you would have to have a majority in the Senate. So therefore, I don't see what the problem would be in your argument. So I would probably change my argument, if you're going to use a bill saying that it came across her desk. Well, the majority of people in the Congress are Caucasian, and they represent Caucasian districts.
Looks like I'm going to have a lot of ass whooping to do.
Yeah, so I would probably change that argument or rethink it if you're trying to use that as like a smackdown on Kamala Harris. Yeah, have a good day.
Thank you, John. Always thoughtful and insightful there. Here's the thing, John. Appreciate him calling in. Well, look, I'm just telling you, if my congressman is listening this morning, or anybody working for Michael Guest, this is not a threat. This is satire. I don't want this taken out of context. Air quotes in the studio. This is satire. But me and Michael Guest have a very uncomfortable conversation if he signs off on a bill that would in fact force me to pay reparations. There will be a line out the door of his office with a bunch of people with FAFO shirts on, making sure that he, in fact, FAFO'd. I feel rather confident in that assertion there, that if my representative, who's already signed to take away my income from TikTok, if he, in fact, signs to give black folks reparations, we will in fact have a problem, unlike any problem we've ever had before. We got to take another commercial break. We'll be right back. Maybe that's the question of the day. What would you do to your congressman if they signed off on a bill to force you to pay reparations? We'll be right back on WYAB. Let The Rock say I'm going to whoop somebody's candy ass if they try to make me pay reparations. All right. Let's throw up the little commercial screen so I can do a little bit of work here in the break, find us some more stuff to talk about this morning. We're winging it here on a Clay Edwards show this morning. Didn't get home good about midnight last night. It was either show prep or sleep. So sometimes the best shows are the ones that you don't have any idea what you're going to be talking about. We're going to come back. We're going to read your comments. I'm sure they're amazing after that phone call. So we'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here on WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at A1 Gear and Auto, located right there in Florence, Mississippi on Highway 49 South. If you're heading south through Richland, look to your right, and you'll see the big white building, big red sign, A1 Gear and Auto. They're going to take care of all your automotive repair needs. What they specialize in, however, is your ring and pinion. The gears that make your vehicle go on down the road, your drivetrain. If that stuff's messed up, they got you covered. Look, whether it's check engine light, AC not blowing cold, brakes, they got you covered at A1 Gear and Auto. They diagnose it right the first time. I was having a conversation with somebody about that the other day, of just how important that is, and the money that can save you alone can be thousands of dollars. Because they diagnose it wrong, you're still responsible for it, unfortunately. That's the way it works. They get it right there at A1 Gear and Auto. It's going to be ready when they tell you it's ready, and it's going to be the price they tell you it's going to be, unless something else is discovered along the way and it's pre-agreed upon that it's got to be fixed. Anyhow, check them out, man. You will not be disappointed. I'm co-signing on them. They fix all my vehicles, my family's vehicles, and they have for the last 3 years or so since they've been on this show. So we appreciate Justin and his team right there at A1 Gear and Auto. Oh, we got a caller on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Let's go to them right now. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, Clay, it's Scott. Good morning.
Hey, Scott. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. Why got to be a big old white building, yo?
I mean, racisms. I didn't make the rules.
Are you trying to trigger? You dog whistling me?
Possibly.
Because it is satire. It's every segment.
Oh no,
disclaimer.
I wish it was satire. I wish it was.
Hey, by the way, thank you very much for replaying Charlie Kirk's segment on Brett Favre and what's going on there. And weaponization is a trend now. If you want to be hipster and cool, you've got to weaponize the legal system, and that's just the going trend. And it's not going to stop till someone stops it. We just know that. So hopefully we'll have that situation squared away this November and subsequently in January. But we'll see. That's a whole nother can of worms. Hey, look, I'm just saying, if it's our representatives, when that mostly Caucasian, mostly white Congress passes reparations that get signed into law by the not black President Kamala Harris, what does that mean on the other side of the coin? Let's look at all sides of the issue. I think that means that you've agreed that you've been made whole. You can no longer say, well, we don't have the advantages you had. Hey, you got paid. You got paid the value of the disadvantage. That's what reparations are. So we're all on even footing now. You can't say, well, we need affirmative action. You can't say, well, you guys got advantages we didn't get.
Yeah.
No, you got all the advantages. You just got paid. And we're done. So there's no more racism anymore. Hey, that's your representative. And, of course, his argument is that because they did something in Congress and they're all representatives, apparently John agrees with absolutely everything and consents to and supports absolutely everything that has ever happened in Congress, apparently, because it's of the people and he's one of the people. So, it's good to know. It's good to know that he supports everything Michael Guest has done if that's the district he's in, and I'm sure Michael Guest is glad to know that he's got his vote every single time to back him. Yeah,
man. These brainwashed Democrats are something else, to say the least. It is mind-boggling that he wants to use that rhetoric. That, well, I mean, it's a representative government, and nonsense. I'm telling you, if Michael Guest goes over there, this is a big what if. I don't even like going down this rabbit hole because I with my disagreements with Michael Guest, I can't imagine he would actually sign anything for reparations. But if we're just going to play John's narrative there, Michael Guest don't want that smoke.
No, No, none of them do. And here's the other thing: where's the money going to come from? It's the only way this happens is they're talking about spending federal tax dollars to pay a segment of the population, but those taxes come from everybody, from the people at the Chinese buffet. They weren't even here when slavery happened. From the guys at the 7-Eleven and at the hotels who are from, Pakistan and India, oftentimes, and I'm not profiling, I'm just trying to give examples.
It's just facts.
People can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, these people make a lot of money, and they've been here doing well and doing their thing. Hispanic people, I think we got a few who've showed up in the last year or two. Why are their tax dollars and their productivity going to be taxed? And you got to raise taxes on everybody. You can't do it out of the current budget. It's already, going to
Ukraine. Yep.
So, you have to raise taxes. You're going to do it on people who had nothing to do with any of this.
Well, that's all of us have nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who is or isn't involved. None of us had anything to do with this. None of the people that would be getting money from this had anything to do with it. They have not suffered from it. They've been given plenty of head start the last 60, 70 years since the civil rights era. They've been done no better or worse. Well, they've been done better. They've been done no worse than white folks or anybody else. It's time to pull up your bootstraps, quit making excuses for things that happened 300 years ago, and go to work. Let's make some money. Plenty black billionaires, millionaires, 100,000-aires out there. You, in fact, can be one of them too.
That's what folks from Asia do. That's what the Chinese do when they come over here. I mean, they come over here and they start making money from the get-go.
Well, look, think of all that. Think of all the other immigrants.
Everybody's chain.
Think of all the other immigrants that come over. Sean's dad from Turkey, for example, came over with nothing, and built quite the fortune for himself. I mean, I don't know his money. I've just heard Sean talk that he's done well, and showed up with nothing, and then got broke again while he was here when he lost his job in Miami and had to move to Mississippi. So if you want it bad enough, you in fact can get it. English wasn't even that man's first language, and he came over here and built himself up from nothing twice, at least. So as I've gotten a little older, I have so much respect for certain pockets of our immigrant culture. And when they say this is a country built on immigrants and all that stuff, so for their excuse for an open border, as I've dug more into this and I've met more immigrants from different places and got to understand the Cuban immigrants and stuff of that nature, and man, I have a different outlook on it, but I still want that damn border closed. Scott, I got to take a break, brother. Great call.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Good show.
Glad to have you calling back in more often again, man. Thank you. All right, let's take a break real quick. I'm hearing that we can't hear the call on the social media stream. I will effort that. I apologize to those guys, but hey, at the end of the day, it's a radio show first. But we do want everything to work everywhere if we're going to put our product there. So I promise we will get that rectified. It worked yesterday. It will work here today at some point, too. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. All right, guys, I apologize for that. I have tried everything I can over here. We may just not take any more calls today because I don't want you all to not be able to hear that. We have several hundred people listening or watching on the stream, and by the end of the day, the stream usually does have done over 1,000 or so. I see some really stupid comments here, so I definitely want to get to them. And we'll do that on the other side of the break. And then we're going to have our top of the hour break. It's going to be 7 minutes long. I got to jump on a Zoom call back there real quick with an advertiser. But we're going to be right back after that with a whole lot more. Y'all keep it going in the comments. I love them. I love reading them. And, man, I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am to have this live stream finally going. You got over 200,000 followers. I hate not being able to use this content for that. I'll tell you what we can do. CC says, Clay, I doubt if you have any black in you. Looks like a lot of people from the Caucasus Mountains. Well, I doubt I have any black in me, too. I mean, I know I've never had any in me, but I'm just saying, just in case, I got a little bit. Just that 1% is all it's going to take from me. 1%. And I'm showing up dressing like a Lumumba. I'm going to put on my African garb. I'm going all in. Y'all let me have just a little bit of black in me. Free the land. Free the people. Free the land. Free the people. Y'all know I love you. Appreciate y'all chiming in this morning. Appreciate y'all allowing me to do this. CC watching on YouTube. I tell you what, man, we are really putting forth a big effort to build up the YouTube channel. So I do appreciate you guys watching and commenting on these YouTube lives for show. For show. Let's see here. Did I take Scott's name off the screen? I'm trying to do this in live time where I'm typing up the caller, who it is, all that stuff. That's disappointing that that the phone calls aren't coming through. I'll get the boss man to come in here and see if we can't get that rectified. My captions. All right, we got that off. All right, good deal. So I can hear the commercials in my headphones. Y'all can't hear them there. That's something else we're going to work on. Like I said, it is a little trial and error when it comes to all this stuff. I got a topic in hour 2 I want to hit about how weak America has gotten. You know, how we could talk about everything, but we can't talk about anybody's weight. Somehow talking about somebody being fat or overweight is like the one sacred cow we're not allowed to talk about in this country. I had a Facebook post that upset a lot of people the other day, talking about a celebrity who had put on some weight. I mean, y'all got big mad about that. Even people that like me was mad at me, which I don't care. Ryan says, I got a little white in me. I'm going to go to the bank and see if I can get a credit increase. I'll tell you what, that's the one thing I always chuckled about, Ryan, is people thinking that white folks was born with good credit. It took me to almost 30 years old before I was allowed to finance a damn thing. It skipped a generation in my house, being born with good credit. It did not go the way I was hoping it would. I was 27 years old. The first thing I was able to finance was a vehicle. I never got approved for a credit card or any of that. I'm good now, but man, it was hard to get to this point. Then you get hung up in a bad marriage, and it gets worse. Then you got to rebuild it again. So could y'all hear the phone call on YouTube? All right, we're back live on WYAB. Ryan Phillips from Mississippi on YouTube says, which I love Ryan. He's one of my favorite callers. Got him. He's watching the show on YouTube this morning. Says, we were joking around during the break on the live stream. And I said, you know, circling back to my comment about getting a 23andMe, Cece has said, Clay, I doubt if you have any black in you. Cece's watching on YouTube. She goes, look like a lot of people from the Caucasus Mountains. I'm guessing that's the Caucasian Mountains. And Ryan comes in and says, I got a little white in me. I'm going to go to the bank and see if I can get a credit increase. I was telling Ryan that in fact is an urban legend. At least it was at my house. Being born with good credit and being able to walk in the bank was something I was not blessed with. I didn't get the secret handshake, the password, the code, whatever it was, because I was 27, almost 28 years old before I could walk in the bank and get anything. And I did in fact get a vehicle financed. It's the first thing I ever financed. Not a credit card. Not any of that. So that's funny. Ryan, let me know if it works out for you, man. Maybe I need to go get a credit increase if they're back to giving white folks preferential treatment at the bank. I need to take advantage of that operation. We need to get them here on the show as a sponsor, actually. You know, this show is the voice of white Mississippi, so I'm told. That's a joke. That's a joke, people. Let's see here. We just got about 20 seconds here before the top of the hour break. Charlie says, we need a testosterone boost in our country, not a decrease, as us men need to eat meat, not beans. Hey, we're going to talk about testosterone and hyper offended Mississippians when we come back. This is the Clay Edwards Show. All right, guys. Be back in 7 minutes When we come back, we're going to talk about this whole thing, this weight thing. Why is everybody so hypersensitive about weight? Why we can call people crack addicts, drug addicts, alcoholics. We can bash people for so many things. But you talk about somebody's weight, and boy, that's the one. They ain't having that. I had so many people bash me and start talking about my weight because I talked about somebody else's weight. They're mad that I talked about somebody's weight, but then they went straight to doing the same damn thing they were mad about, which I got thick skin. You're not going to offend me. I'm good. So anyway, I want to get into that. I think it's a good topic for us. If you guys had anything else you want to talk about, let me know. We'll you hit me in the comments there. We'll talk about that. If you would prefer to stay anonymous, but you want to chime in, you can text the Guns and Gear text line. That's 769-241-1944. I'll put that up on the screen here for you guys. And if you want to text the show, that's also not necessarily my phone number, but I have that phone on 24/7, and I do read all the texts that come in. So if you ever want to hit me up, you got a news story you want to share, anything like that, let me know. You can text me there, and it's the best way to kind of stay anonymous. There it is on the bottom of the screen there. I will be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. Let's see if I can do this. I would like that scroll to stay up. Yeah, perfect. I'll be right back. Strap in, turn up the volume, no sugar added, nothing but testosterone, talk radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Boom, shakalaka, boom. We call it the daily dose of reality radio. We talk about topics that other people run from. We're like firemen and first responders and police. We run to the fire, not away from it, here on the Clay Edwards Show. We love those hot topics. We love those hot takes. You're not always going to agree with us, and that's fine. Your opinion is welcomed here too. If you got a good take, I want to hear it. If you disagree with me, I want to hear it. Just don't come on here spreading any misinformation or lies. Hillary Clinton wants to throw you in jail, as a matter of fact, for spreading misinformation and lies. I bet you think that's misinformation and a lie, don't you? What if I told you you can hear it out the pig's mouth right here?
Journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump, his demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it. They were merciless about what they saw as President Biden's, problems in the debate and calling for him to, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it. They were merciless about what they saw as President Biden's, problems in the debate and calling for him to. All
right, so that's Hillary Clinton claiming that Americans. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong dang clip. My apologies. I had a clip of Hillary Clinton claiming that Americans should be locked up for misinformation. Here it is. My bad. It happens to the best of us every now and then.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence, because she wants us boosting Trump back.
She wants us criminally charged, guys. Hillary Clinton wants you put in jail for spreading what Democrats seem to call misinformation. Misinformation? You mean like the Steele dossier that you paid for, that your campaign paid for, that said that Donald Trump, the great man of faith, my Lord and Savior, liked to have Russian prostitutes pee on him? That dossier, that misinformation, the constant misinformation where you run around claiming that the 2016 election was stolen, that misinformation. I mean, okay, I guess if we're going to start sending people to jail, but you first, witch. You first. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Thank you guys for tuning in this morning. If you're looking for somewhere to eat for lunch today, get out to Martin's in downtown Jackson or the all-new location there at Livingston. Best blue plates, or one of the best blue plates in all the Tri-County area. You know what I'm going to say, but the country fried steak is where my heart is. I think we've helped make their country fried steak a little famous. People send me pictures of it all the time, making me hungry. Anyway, get out there. If you're out there in the Livingston area this morning looking for something to eat, stop by Martin's Market. It's their full-service gas station right there. And it got a little market inside. They got fresh, made from scratch chicken biscuits and more. Made from scratch. Fried Southern-style chicken biscuits there at Martin's. Check out the website for more information, martinsdowntown.jxn.com. All right, so I got a topic I want to hit, and I'm going to read all your texts, and I'm going to read your texts. I'm going to read your chats here in just a minute, but I want to hit a topic real quick. So I was on Facebook the other day, and I saw a post that Mississippi State shared of country music superstar Hardy, who, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Hardy. I have seen Hardy in concert 3, 4, 5 times. I had front row seats to see him in Brandon last year, and he canceled that show a week out due to an anxiety attack or something of that nature. I mean, look, I've dealt with some depression and stuff in time, and I've had anxiety and stuff, but I'm just going to be honest. I've never had it. I've never known it was going to happen a week out and cancel something, but hey, whatever. Maybe we just don't know the details, but that aside, my point being, I'm a Hardy fan, and I understand on dealing with stuff. But so he played a big sold out show, first ever ticketed concert at Duty Noble Field, the baseball stadium there in Starkville. Some pictures came out, and I mean, man, this dude has put on some weight, son. Over the last 2 years, I would say that he's probably put on 60 pounds, 70 pounds maybe. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I was really polite about the way I said it. But I shared the post and said, hey, man, I hope those people closest to Hardy are having a conversation with him about his weight. I said, because it looks like it's about to hit that tipping point where it becomes very hard to come back from. I got really, really close to that point when I got to 320 pounds. Look, I still need to lose 25 pounds. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not saying this from a place of like I'm the beacon of health. I mean, I still don't even like people seeing me with my shirt off. And I was just saying, hey, look, I've heard he's dealing with some depression. You know, one thing that can help depression is losing weight and quit eating sugar. Sugar is poison, and it can really mess with your mental health a lot and just everything. As I quit eating sugar, I said, and there are things out there, you know, like semaglutides and Ozempic and some of this stuff, whether you agree with it, disagree with it, whatever. Testosterone. And I'm not saying this to do an ad here. I'm just making the point that these are things that I've done and on top of my diet and exercise program that have made a difference. And it helped my mental health a lot. When you get happy in your own skin, it's amazing how everything else falls into place around you when it comes to your mental health. If you love the person in the mirror, you're good. And I just say, hey, you know, there's just no excuse to be overweight anymore, regardless of what we know about food, diet, especially this fella, man, got access to money and all that. Not that you need it. Actually, if you do intermittent fasting, you'll save money. I mean, I lost that 70 pounds without taking a drop of testosterone, without taking the semaglutide, without anything. I just quit eating carbs, quit drinking beer, and only ate 1 meal a day. Steak or eggs or chicken and eggs. And that was it. Or bacon and sausage, just meat. And not fried, of course. Lost 70 pounds. Then I wanted to transform my body some, started working out and, taking the testosterone and all that stuff. But honestly, I didn't take the testosterone strictly for muscle gain or nothing. It's helped so much with mental health as well. Anyway, point being, I got blasted by a bunch of weak-minded folks that think you're not allowed to talk about weight. Like, that is just the sacred cow. You are not allowed to talk about somebody being overweight, Clay. You're fat. Like, I thought you just said you're not allowed to talk about people being overweight. You just call me fat. Shut up, bigot. So it just got me to thinking, why are we so sensitive about weight? Why is weight the one thing that triggers everybody so bad? I mean, it was right wing, left wing, black, white. I mean, y'all was all on my butt about it. And I mean, I don't care. In defense, there was plenty of people who agreed with me, by the way. But I ran into some people at the concert last night, and they were like, "Man, you had folks riled up about that Hardy post." They said, "But I agree. I thought the same dang thing when I saw the picture of him. That boy putting on some weight." And is it because Mississippi's the most obese state in America? Is it because you too are probably overweight, and you felt like I was nudging you a little bit? Because I kind of was. I am kind of nudging everybody a little bit. And I was using Hardy as my example. But what was really disheartening was how weak we've become. I mean, there were people that was like, "That's it. I agree with you, but I'm unfollowing you because you talked about somebody's weight. Well, you were weak, and I don't want you in my foxhole. And I feel bad for your family." These are some grown men that were saying this stuff. I feel bad for your family if you were that offended by me politely talking about somebody's weight. But apparently there is no polite way to talk about anybody's weight. You're not allowed to do that. That's a personal thing. No, because inevitably it ends up, and I'm not talking about Hardy here, just in general, it ends up becoming a strain on our medical system. And Medicare, Medicaid, and all that is we're having to pay for people and diabetics as they get older and less healthy. And it ends up becoming a burden on the taxpayers. That's one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with people taking Ozempic that aren't diabetics. Oh, they're trying to get healthy? That's diabetic prevention. It costs a lot less now to prevent it than it does to have to manage it. But man, China and Russia are sitting back laughing at us being so sensitive that we're crying about talking about a celebrity putting on some weight. Maybe it's because he's from Mississippi. Y'all feel like y'all got to defend him. Maybe it's because you're probably fat too. Maybe it's because we're the most obese state in America. Maybe it's a combination of all that. Maybe it's just because we've gotten weak. Same people who got all offended about me calling out the furries the other day. "Clay, you're not allowed to talk about that. Mind your own business, bigot." No, I will not mind my own business. Y'all quit getting offended at everything. Now it's my hill to die on. Now I'm going to talk about it a lot more. Because clearly it's something that's triggered a bunch of folks. Y'all gotten in your feelings about it. And I think it's because you're not happy with the person you see in the mirror. Mazda Jackson phone line this morning, 601-879-0002. Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. Of course, we're streaming live on the Save JXN YouTube, Facebook, and X accounts. You can watch it live, chime in, jump in on the conversation there if you like at Save JXN on any of those platforms. I was hoping to see some comments about this topic because it sure had them fired up on Facebook the other night. Sure had them fired up the other night. Let's see here. Madeline asked, "What do you do during the day while fasting? Drink water. Also, how do you keep your energy up?" I do drink a lot of water, and the water helps. when it comes to the fasting. It really does. If you get hungry, just drink some water. Another trick to get through the fast, you can drink black coffee too, by the way. That won't break your fast. 5-hour energies won't break your fast. But I'll take, if I get hungry, and look, once you can get through the first week of this, the fasting thing, it gets a lot easier. And you don't have to do it every day either. You get the benefits of fasting just doing it one day. So, a shot of apple cider vinegar, if you can stomach it, it will kill your appetite. It will, for a few hours, a shot of apple cider vinegar will 100% kill your appetite. And it's not bad for you either. I mean, it's good for your digestive tract. I don't know about all the other miracle claims they make about apple cider vinegar, but if nothing else, it does help with your digestive stuff, and it will kill your appetite. And you can lose a little weight or avoid eating some meals. So let's go over here to my phone, to the Guns and Gear text line. Now, look, I do see the Hardy jokes coming in. I'm not gonna bash the guy, but I get it, but I don't get offended by it. You know, and that's kind of the thing. Just people getting all in their feelings about talking about a celebrity putting on some weight, and I just think it's because most people are overweight and they don't want to be called fat. Look, man, I credit my dad in having people around me that care about me. My dad said, "Hey, look, when I got to 320 pounds," and he told me, he said, "Look, man, I'm worried about you. You're bigger than you've ever been." That hurt. I mean, I wasn't mad at him. I mean, but somebody telling me that made me realize that I had, in fact, what I thought I was seeing in the mirror is what I thought I was seeing. And it made me really put forth that effort to not see that person anymore. I mean, it takes a while. It ain't some quick fix. I mean, I'm 3 years into this. We got to take our first commercial break here of hour 2. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back here on WYAB. We're going to circle back to the reparations conversation. You got a lot of good comments on that and text, so I want to read what you guys have to say. Feel free to ask me any questions about the weight loss and testosterone and all that if you want. We'll be right back. Let's see here. L. Walker on YouTube says, "I'm with you. I'm overweight, but I'm not offended. It motivates me to get off my butt and lose weight." I'm going to tell you what, I lost 70 pounds in 100 days. Now, and it was without going to the gym. I didn't step on a treadmill. I didn't do drugs. I didn't take any Ozempic. I didn't do anything. I just intermittent fasted and didn't eat any carbs or alcohol for 100 days. Lost 70 pounds. 1 meal a day. I ate a huge dinner, big steak dinner every night, basically for 100 days. Stayed in ketosis. You got to nibble on a little bit of bacon here and there. You got to get some fat. Good ribeye will take care of that, or chicken thighs. They got some fat in them. Eggs, cholesterol food. And I lost 70 pounds in 100 days. Like I said, not an iota of exercise or no supplements or anything. So it can, in fact, be done. You just got to – it's mentally tough. But, like, the one thing, for whatever reason, the one thing we have 100% full control over is the amount of food or what we put in our mouths, whether it's the type of food, the amount of food, alcohol, whatever. But it seems to be the hardest thing to manage. And that's for all of us. I'm talking about myself, too. I mean, I struggle with it still. I went and ate pizza for lunch yesterday. I did get the cauliflower crust, but I was still full and miserable for the rest of the day, and I didn't work out yesterday because I ate lunch and got full. Then I went to that concert last night and had a few beers. I mean, I get it, man. It's tough. It is tough to do it and to stay on it. So here, Madeline Marie says, try doing the apple cider vinegar diluted with a little water and ice. Helps take the bite out. That's how I started doing it, but now I just do the straight shot. I keep it in the fridge. I keep it cold. But it's the nastier it can taste, the better it seems to work for me. I see we got some comments about the Bill and Hillary stuff, so we will get to that too. And Ryan lost a lot of weight. A lot of weight. I think Ryan lost over 100 pounds in a rather short amount of time, a couple years, something like that. So it can be done, man. You just got to make the decision that you want to do it. You just got to make the decision. What's more important? Putting that donut in your mouth or liking the person you see in the mirror? I want to like the person I see in the mirror. But hey, that's just me. But I was shocked. I mean what I said. I was shocked that so many people were offended that I talked about a celebrity putting on some weight. It's like you're not allowed to talk about that. Yeah. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Y'all talk about everything else involving celebrities. Chance says, he was 300 pounds and now he's at 265. But there's no better dopamine hit than getting on them scales and seeing you lost some weight. We're coming back from commercial break now. We're almost coming back anyway. We'll be 20 seconds left, and we're back from commercial break here on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here on WYAB. That was an intense conversation. I guess it seems like a great time to tell you about Men's Health in Mississippi and the testosterone and all that. I said I wasn't going to make it an ad, but it seems like a good time to do it. If you are struggling with any of that stuff, whether it's low testosterone, if it's being overweight, guys, there's too much stuff available for you for that to be an excuse anymore. Just simply put, there's too much stuff available. If you'll text my name, Clay, to 601-327-8550, if you're suffering from fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances, you are, in fact, most likely suffering from low testosterone. And Men's Health in Mississippi can help you get over that hump. It did me. That's for the low testosterone. If you want to just go in there and see them about the compounded semaglutide, which is basically generic Ozempic, just in layman terms, text weight loss to 601-327-8550. And they're going to get you hooked up today and get you back on the road to health. They're located right there at 120 Fountains Boulevard in Madison, Mississippi. That's Men's Health in Mississippi. I'll put their information here scrolling across the bottom of the screen. We are streaming live across all our social media platforms at SaveJXN. Let's see here. Glenn says, people that never commented about any of Obama's horrible policies got mad whenever he commented on Jessica Simpson's weight. It was the top story of the week. I forgot about that. They did. Yeah, I don't know what it is, why we're so sensitive about talking about people's weight. We sure are. Let's see here. We got some text on the text machine. Unknown texture says, I eat 1 meal a day. Also says it's dinner, and I drink 2 bottles of seltzer to get through the day. Yeah, man, you feel so much better when you're not full. When you deprioritize food in your mind, you feel so much better when you're not full all day. Unknown texture says, being overweight is the most outwardly visible sign of weakness. And on some level, everybody knows this. That's why people get triggered when somebody speaks on it. Yeah, 100%. So many people use food as a coping mechanism. And we've also Everything we do in the South in particular is based around food. Dating. You go out to eat all the time. It's about food. Business. It's always at lunch. When you're sad, you eat. When you're happy, you eat. We eat at funerals. We eat at weddings. Everything. There's food around. And I love food too, obviously. I mean, I sit here and talk about these country fried steaks every day. Love them. But man, it is a sign of weakness that you can't control the one thing you have control over. The one thing, I talked about this during the break on the live stream. The one thing we have 100% control over is what we put in our mouths. I mean, these people got mad at me like I kicked a mentally challenged kid upside the head or something. Talking about somebody's weight. Sad, man. It really is. Really, really is sad. We got to take a call, so if you guys are online, I can't hear it. I do apologize. Hey, brother, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, my man. How are you this morning?
Man, I'm good, brother.
If there's one thing that I have personal knowledge and experience on is this topic. So I was sitting here biting my tongue, but I had to call, man. I'm going to take the opposite stance. Now, full disclosure, I have never liked or even attempted the fasting routine, but I found in my 30 years of doing this that the lack of nutrition, not the lack of eating, is what causes most people's problems. So on my part, I feel like there's enough studies to back up that most people need to eat more, not less. If you want to activate your metabolism, which is nothing more than a mechanical switch in the body that is telling it, hey, turn on the furnace, we've got something in the stomach, we need to digest it, we need to process whatever's down there. If that switch is off, you will not burn more calories than it takes to survive. Only your vital functions in your brain is going to get nutrition. And that is exactly the antithesis of losing weight. Now, losing weight and losing fat are two different things also, which I can speak on if you got a second.
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Depending on your situation, see, this is, when I was training, this was the first thing I would ask people. First of all, what is your situation? Is it medical? Because if you need a doctor, you need to go see a doctor, not some personal trainer. Secondly, if it's just what you see in the mirror, how desperate or how willing are you to sacrifice? Because elite athletes sacrifice everything to become elite. People who really want to reach a goal will sacrifice whatever it takes, time away from family, work, money, whatever it takes to get to that goal. So you have to make up your mind first and say, okay, well, I'm not really that into it, so if it takes me 8 months, then I'm okay with 8 months. But that's not the mental attitude people have. They want it in 8 days, and that is never going to happen unless you cut a leg off. So I told somebody one time, they said, I just want to lose 100 pounds. I said, then cut a leg off. You're done. And they were like, well, that's not what I meant. I said, then don't tell me it's that drastic. Tell me you want to lose 100 pounds worth of fat, and we can work from that point. So you have to figure out, first of all, what is my goal? Too many people just say, I want to lose weight. That's not a goal. That's a mindset. And so without a goal and without proper education and someone who's willing to teach you the difference between losing weight and losing fat, most people are going to miss their goal, or they're not going to achieve the level that they had set in their mind because they didn't have a specific target they were aiming at. And so, in my personal opinion, the first thing you have to do is get the proper calories into the body, which usually means eating more of the good stuff, zero of the bad stuff, and then add exercise to see how your body's digesting those calories.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your goals are. You're 100% correct. If your goals are just to lose some weight and you're not concerned about what that weight is, I mean, hey, I know what worked for me, and so I can only speak on myself. But like I say, if you're trying to build muscle, you got to eat X amount of protein and all that. I have learned that I function better with I don't want to say an empty stomach, but not being full all the time. Not eating every time I'm hungry, even if it's a small, healthy meal. I know there's that whole 6 meal a day stuff out there, and that may work for some people. That doesn't work for me.
And that's awesome. See, you have the you have the knowledge and the experience and the maturity to go, hey, wait a second, I need to learn my body, not what some guy put in the magazine or what some lady said that because she's a movie star and that's what's going to work for me. I have to go learn my body. So too many people try and fail, and then they don't try again. The whole point is
I agree. I was just saying, I agree with you. You're the one that the try and fail thing. Too many people do. They try, they get discouraged because, I thought this worked for everybody, and it didn't work for me. And I guess nothing's going to work for me if this don't work for me. I know. Yeah. I just think you got to keep swinging. I know it ain't going to work. Sitting down, shoving ding dongs in your face all day, drinking Coca-Cola or any other soft drink. And I'm just picking on Coke here, and constantly main veining sugar into your body. That ain't going to work for nobody.
Absolutely, man. That's the key right there, man. Like I said, you get me excited, I'll take up the whole show, man. I apologize, but I just want to let you know, I've never been a fan of fasting, but I'm super proud that it works for you. You remember, like I said, I've seen some of the old photos, and you're a different person today.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Good hearing from you, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate that, man. If y'all couldn't hear that online, I apologize. A great call. It'll be on the podcast later from Jerry there. Yeah, look, you got to do what works for you. I'm not saying that any of this stuff is set in stone, but losing weight is simple. You got to burn more calories than you consume. But I guess more than anything, didn't mean to turn this into a health and fitness show today. I truly didn't. I'm just trying to make the point that we have gotten really, really weak when we're offended by talking about people's weight. That's something says a lot about where we've gotten at in this country. And I understand having some sympathy and empathy for folks. Somebody sent a text in on the Guns and Gear text line that I thought was really good. I was reading, kind of looking, cruising through those when Jerry was talking there. James said there was a lot more skinny people when fat shaming was the norm. Yeah, look, and I don't want to get into totally fat shaming folks, but I think it's okay to call people out a little bit and just say, hey, man, are you all right? You're putting on some weight. Is everything all right at home? You're eating more. I think that's okay to ask that question. Hey, are you okay? You put on some weight. But the constant sugar intake, everything, we're being bombarded. I don't think it's an accident that they have fattened America up. I truly don't. I think it is some conspiratorial plan to make us fat and weak by our enemies. They made us fat, weak, and overly emotional and hypersensitive to crap we shouldn't be emotional or sensitive about. They really have. You go back and look at pictures. This ain't anybody can do this. Google people on the beach 1960, 1970. Even early 80s. Then find a picture of a packed beach today and look at the difference in the amount of fat people versus skinny people. Fat people nowadays, skinny people back in the day. Bro, that's not an accident. That is not an accident. Let's take a break. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show here on 103.9 FM WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on WYAB in Central Mississippi. We're on WYAB.com, streaming worldwide there, as well as streaming across all of my social media platforms at SaveJXN. That's right, we finally got a camera in the studio. This segment is going to be brought to you by our friends over at, how about my friends over at Johnny's Pizza House right there in Gluckstadt, Mississippi. Man, Johnny's, do you want some delicious food that is one of a kind? Well, Johnny's Pizza House is a beloved institution rooted in the heart of Louisiana. And it's not just a place to grab a slice. It's a slice of Louisiana life. That sounds good. I like Louisiana. Johnny's has your favorites, but they're also a destination for something unique. They got some pizzas such as the Hog Heaven. Say no more, fam. Say no more. I always like the Hog Heavens, the pigs, all that stuff. Says get revved up with smoked ham, bacon, sausage, spicy smoked andouille, jalapenos, and mozzarella cheese. How about try the the muffaletta sandwich. It's an award-winning combination of salami, ham, and olives mixed with, you guessed it, mozzarella cheese. They got shareables. Got some mozzarella sticks with cheddar cheese, bacon, and jalapenos. They got wings. They got cinnamon sticks and more. Or, hey, back to the pizza. Try the Maui Wowie. It's a taste of island life with sweet pineapple, smoked ham, bacon, and mozzarella cheese. And they got one of theirs called Sweep the Swamp. It's a taste of crab, shrimp, and Cajun spice, as well as jalapenos, onions, and delicious mozzarella cheese. That's Johnny's Pizza House right there in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Check them out today. They got lunch specials starting as low as $5.99. Available for carry-out, dine-in, and, of course, delivery. All right, man. So, probably not the best time for a pizza live read, but it was their turn. It was their turn. Hey, look, anything in moderation is good. You eat pizza every day, you're probably gonna be one of these people we're talking about. You're probably gonna be having the battle of the bulge. Let's see here. Unknown texture says, "Sweep the swamp will make your tongue slap your brains out." I bet it is good. That's on the Guns and Gear text line there. James brought up a great point on a text here. He says, "I've been in the Mississippi Army Guard for 11 years now, and the amount of overweight in the Army is staggering. Numbers are so high, they won't kick anyone out. The numbers are so low. The recruiting numbers are so low in the Army, they won't kick anybody out, even if they're overweight and can't pass a physical therapy test, a PT test." He says, "We got guys that cannot run a mile. Some are too fat to even wear their body armor." I said, we've lowered the standards in America. I think that's just the best way to say it, right? We've just lowered our dang standards to accommodate everybody and to keep from hurting people's feelings. It's time to get back to hurting some people's feelings. I mean, it truly is. This is good here. This unknown texture says, "I have a 1969 high school annual. Over 700 pictures in it, and not one fat person. 700 pictures, not one fat person." Let's go over here to your text, to your chats online, and it says, get back up to the scroll it down here. All right, Gatorman says, "That's one of the reasons I'm supporting RFK Jr. is because he's going to go after the food industry for having us addicted to sugar and processed foods, which is killing us, not to mention Big Pharma." Man, Gatorman hit the nail on the head right there. Look, I don't agree with a lot of RFK stuff, but his Make America Healthy Again, look, God bless our parents, but they just did not, a lot of them just didn't know the dangers of sugar. And I mean, I'm not even talking about bread. I mean, obviously, the more bread and pasta you eat, the fatter you're going to get. You know, just the carbs and that kind of sugar. But I'm talking about real sugar, processed sugar. I watch people drink 5, 6, 7, 8 Cokes a day, and I'm just using Coke as my catch-all, whether it's Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, whatever, Mountain Dew. You always hear the stories about people, man, I quit drinking soft drinks and I just lost 15 pounds doing nothing else. But what does that tell you? What does that tell you about those drinks? I quit eating junk food, lost 20 pounds, didn't do nothing else. That junk food's killing you. Absolutely killing you. We got to take a call here. Again, sorry if y'all can't hear it online. On the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, this is Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Look, I'm going to tell you what. The diet, the DEI, all these healthy things, these bean burgers and all, look at it. They all contain estrogen. We're feminizing the men. Now, I grew up, for the first 10 years of my life, I lived on a farm. Everything that I got came off that farm. I drank raw milk. Okay, right now I I cook from scratch at my house. The ladies don't cook but about once a week, and I cook from scratch. Last night, I cooked pork chops in lard. Well, I say lard. It was pure clarified bacon grease.
That's what I use.
And I'm 75 years old. I'm 6'3". I weigh 198 pounds. I have a 32-inch waist, and I'm still stronger than most of these 30 years old. But it is, if you check the processed food, that's what's killing all the chemicals. I firmly believe that. Now, I hadn't smoked or drank in 40 years, and, because I'm an alcoholic and I couldn't smoke unless I drank, and I couldn't drink unless I smoked. So, but that's what's wrong. And once upon a time, I had a job that I had to qualify once a year for. I had to go a complete physical and do everything. At 50 years old, I was doing what I did at 25. It was requirement. Then they got into DEI, and I used to have to go to sensitivity training pretty often. The last time we had and ladies, don't get mad at me, but we had a affirmative hire that was a female. We were loading things up. I reached and got my stuff with one hand, threw it up in the vehicle. She couldn't pick it up and asked for help. And I don't know why she took offense. All I said to her is, if you can't do the job, you need to go back to waiting table for car hopping, whatever you were doing when you came here. For some reason, I had to go to, sensitivity training. But look, we have lowered the standard. When I was in school, I don't know if they still had it when you was in school, we had a PE class. You had to do something. Now they sit on their butts and play games all day. And I see first graders with telephones. And if we get in a shooting fight, Clay, they're going to have to break the glass and bring dinosaurs like me out.
Yeah,
because I don't believe the younger folks, the under 30 crowd, have the heart to fight.
Yep. Steven just said on Facebook here, he said, sugar plays a part of it, but it's also the games we give our kids. They become lazy and don't want to go outside because it's hot. The only time I played mine was when it was raining. The same thing you're saying.
I have a son with 3 kids, and he limits the time that they get on, media.
Yep. Hey,
every one of them, the older 2, one of them runs track, the other one plays football. The younger one's still goobing around. He hadn't figured out his nose in the lunchbox yet. But now I want to say something to your listeners. Folks, the text line is great, but by God, call the man. I can feel your passion when you call. And he's having to do all the talking and read your stuff. You can take 5 minutes and call. I'm as busy as anybody. I go from 6 in the morning to 6 at night, and I got a lot to do. But call the man. I ought to give a challenge. Even if you're a liberal, right-wing, panty-wearing Democrat, call. I enjoy it. Give them hell, brother.
Thank you, buddy. Have a blessed one. Like they used to say, detractors move to the front of the line. We got to take our last break of the day. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show here as we get ready to land the plane here on this Tuesday morning edition, episode 832 of the Clay Edwards Show on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show as we get ready to land the plane here for the day. We got about a minute. Got about a minute left. I appreciate everybody taking part in today's show. It's always fun. Like I said, we kind of freestyled it a little bit today, but I think we had some topics that everybody was pretty fired up and passionate about. I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. Your health and fitness should be a priority as an American, because only the strong survive, and I think we're getting real close to going to have an opportunity to see just how true that statement is as they continue to try to assassinate Donald Trump so they can come for us. He's protecting us from them. He's the only thing standing in between us and them. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.